Hey everyone, it's Mippy with Basically Bonsai. I know. I can hear exactly what you guys are saying at me.
Where have you been?
But I know, it's been a while. I'm back. For now, at least. Life got a little busy, so, between moving and getting engaged and losing a job and starting a new job, things took a back seat. But I'm here to kind of show you guys around the new place. I am no longer on a balcony. Well, I'm sort of no longer on a balcony, and things have changed a little bit. So let me show you what I've been working on. So I'm up at the top of our stairs. Instead of a balcony, we have a lovely series of backyard terraces, and I have taken over a good portion for the trees. I've got a cedar that was collected that's currently in recovery. It's the first time I have ever collected anything, so we shall see how it does. And over here with the rest of the trees, I've got a Japanese maple that I started working on a couple weeks ago. The top portion of it had died off and had some fungus. So we're going to try to train up this branch to be the new leader. And we'll see how it goes. Up here, got a nice little cedar that I got from one of our fellow Toronto Bonsai Club members. And I worked on during the Eric Auger workshop. Really terrific workshop. I'm not sure if any of you guys remember, but I was terrified of pruning, and having somebody so experienced say, yep, that branch, you're right to want to cut it off. It's very affirming. So anytime you've got an opportunity to do a workshop, I highly recommend it. I've got a Natal plum here that I got from Chris Hendry. It's in need of some attention and work, so I'll probably start working on that soon. Little cutting turned cascade portulacaria. Very cool dwarf ivy variety that I got during one of the TBS shows. Should start working on that soon. Recent acquisition here from Kim's. It is a type of quince, and I think I'm going to want to pot it kind of at this angle eventually, but for now we focus on keeping it alive. Here I have a little amber maple that I got during one of the club shows that I started working on. I think we're going to have the front somewhere around here eventually. That great little root system already started on it. Under all of this foliage is a privet. I don't know if you can even get in there to see what's going on, but I got this from Ray. There we go. This is a dwarf variety of Fothergia. I don't know how you say it properly, but they have these cool little pom-pom-like flowers. I found this at a nursery in Ottawa and had to bring it home. So I just gave it a little bit of a prune earlier this spring, and we're gonna let it grow in. See what happens. Gosh, there's more back here than you realize sometimes. This is a forsythia, badly in need of a haircut, that I got from a club member. This here is one of the first trees I ever bought, and I bought it from Kim's, and I've nearly killed it. I don't even know how many times. Good learning curve. Very, very, very forgiving plant. But we'll see what happens. Got all sorts of little cuttings and things from various places. This is my Ficus benjamina that I worked on with Nigel at his place. It had a horrendous scale infestation over the winter, and so I had to defoliate the whole thing and scrub it down, and I think it is all gone for now, but it has bounced back beautifully. Back in here I have a very, very shaggy juniper that I started working on for the first time kind of late last summer. Gave it its first prune and wiring, so I've got to get back in there soon. In here, amongst all the little suckers that I'll need to take out eventually, is quite a nice looking trunk for a quince. So next spring I'll want to get that repotted and separate out all of these other little suckers. They will be for sale if I don't kill them, so stay tuned. Locals. In here is my little Kingsville boxwood. This little guy came from Ray, and I gave it a pretty good haircut, and it all grew back really fast. So I'm gonna have to do that again soon, I think. But I do love this tree. Let's see if I can get in there. Alright, what else have I got on here? This is my Premna. Let's get this out on the table. So this little guy also had a horrendous scale, and then whitefly, and then something else infestation throughout the winter. Tons of fun. Lost almost all the foliage on it in my battle against the evil forces. But as you can see, it has grown back beautifully, and it's probably time for another haircut. This little guy is a type of bilbed gruya. I had worked on one with Nigel and unfortunately lost it due to teeny tiny pot and me not understanding how bonsai soil worked differently than nursery soil. So thankfully I have learnt that lesson, I hope, and that won't happen again. But I loved the species so much I had to go get another one. This guy struggled a little bit with pests throughout the winter as well. So I lost some of the tips of the branches, but as you can see, it's coming back very nicely, and I'll give it a prune soon. Let's see, what else have I got in here? I've got another little field maple in here. This one I got from Ray ages ago. And I just kind of keep trying to prune it back and work it back into a tighter, more condensed shape. The leaves are lovely and tiny though. Back here I've got a type of dwarf birch that I've been working on. In fact, I've already got a video filmed of me working on this, so I'll show it off a bit more there. And I've got a dwarf burning bush from nursery stock that I wired up and pruned not too long ago. So we'll see how that comes in. It's got some new growth fleshing out, but the aphids also seem to like it. So we will see what happens there. This guy here, another recent acquisition from Kim's. They had all these absolutely stunning Barbados cherries available, and I ended up falling in love with this one. So I can take absolutely no credit for it, except for picking it out. But I'll want to get it in more bonsai soil and see how it goes. But for right now, it's just growing and doing its thing. Now, this tree, I don't think you'll see much of in other places. This is my jacaranda seedling, and you might notice all along here, this is where leaves grew and then just fell out. It really, really struggles indoors in the winter. I have never had so much growth up top. It loves water, it loves sun, it loves heat. So it's going to be a challenge, but what is even more exciting is all along here, where leaves fell out previously, we have new growth coming out, which is totally brand new and I have not had happen before. So I'm going to wire this up soon, get a little movement in the trunk, and keep on pumping it with sun, water, fertilizer, and see how far I can get it. This is a type of cedar that I did not buy to be a tree. It gets this beautiful kind of reddish color, and it also flowers. So I thought it'd be a pretty cool accent plant, actually. But it is a type of cedar. And then back here, I've got a dwarf purple burning bush from Ray that needs some love and affection. So I'm gonna try to work on that soon. Back here is a Scots pine that was gifted to me by a member of the TBS. He said everyone has to have a pine in their collection, even though I'm afraid of them. To be honest, it was looking a lot healthier before, so I'm a little worried about it. But we got it initially pruned and wired up a little bit, just with the primary trunk to get some movement going. And I have no idea what to do with the rest of it yet, so we'll see about that. And then down here in front, this powder puff is actually a very, very recent acquisition, as in it just got here today. For any of those Canadians out there who spend time on the Canadian bonsai marketplace, I'm sure you have seen and heard of Gerald. I got suckered into it, but no, I don't regret it at all. I love this little guy. I really wanted something short and stubby and fat and wonderful, and here he is. It was packed up beautifully, but I don't know how long it's been packed for. When I saw it on video before, the green was a little bit more vibrant. So I think it's a little stressed out, so we'll keep an eye on it. Probably get some gin work going on over here, which I don't know how to do yet, so we'll see how that goes. And then down here on the floor, because I'm running out of space, is my wisteria, which I just got pruned up for the first time. I want to keep growing bigger and bigger because eventually it will have all that beautiful cascading floral drapery. So I want to make sure there's enough space for that. But this is just the first time I've done any work on it, so we're just at the beginning. And then over here is actually a root over rock project that I started a little over a year ago here in this basket. So I've buried the bottom of the ficus and wrapped it around this rock here that juts out, kind of like Pride Rock from The Lion King. And you might notice here, there we go, if I can get in there, that's my first attempt at air layering. I want to take the top portion off, and there's so much of it, I thought, well, might as well try to save it. So we'll see how that goes. And then over here, some of you who frequent YouTube might be like, hey, that kind of looks like Nigel's dwarf Schefflera. And that's because this was created by a Toronto Bonsai Club member who basically tried to mimic it using the same techniques and, similar process. And so this is what he's created, and he was temporarily downsizing his collection, and so I managed to snap it up because I've always loved that tree of Nigel's. And not too long ago I did a Nigel style pruning. As you can see, we've already got new growth coming in on all the branches. This one here at the front, very front center tree, I actually didn't prune off any of the foliage on that one. It's the center forefront tree, and for whatever reason it's slowed down a little compared to some of its neighbors, so I want to try to fatten it up and see if we can get a little bit more prominence for that front tree there. And then over here is my willow leaf ficus that I also worked on with Nigel. As you can see, that trunk base is flaring out beautifully. Let's get these out while I'm here in the pot. There we go. And like just about almost every single other one of my tropicals, I had a horrendous battle with pests this winter. So all of this foliage is actually new after intense defoliation and battles with water and dish soap and neem oil, and Windex was recommended, and just sitting there with a Q-tip and rubbing alcohol and squishing every single one I could find. So it's bounced back wonderfully, and I've got some new growth further down on the branches, which was what I was really hoping for. So we're going to continue trying to push this in and condense it. And then last on the tour, for tonight at least. Oh boy, okay. I need both hands. There we go. So this is a weeping fringe style of maple that was gifted to me by the new president of the Toronto Bonsai Society as a birthday present. as you can see in here, there's already the start of a nice trunk in Nabari. And it really just needs some pruning and some wiring and a little bit of a plan that I currently do not have. So we'll see what happens there when I figure that out. So that's more or less all the kids, at least for now. Skipped over some of the smaller cuttings and things that have just been hanging out, but we hit most of the core guys. I will do my utmost not to abandon y'all for a year. We're gonna come in here and probably build another section of the bench because I need to create a little bit more space. And some of you might have noticed I've actually got water nozzles up here along the fence, so I can actually turn on and off the sprinklers from my phone and set automatic systems, which has been a lifesaver. It has really reduced a lot of the stress. It seems to have made everybody extremely happy. The growth has been phenomenal. And so if you have any questions on how I set that up or what I used, feel free to ask. I would be happy to send links. I was negligent and I didn't film any of it, so apologies for that, but I'll answer any questions that you might have. Okay. So thanks so much, guys, for coming through this walkthrough and this update. I'm sorry it took so long. I'll be sure to keep you guys updated as I start working on things and with the progress of these projects that I started. We'll kind of see how it goes. As you might know, for those who have already seen some of my earlier videos, you know I am still very much a beginner. I am learning this as I go. Luckily, I have amazing mentors at the Toronto Bonsai Society who have been gracious enough with their time and with their knowledge to share with me. Whenever they give me a good tip, I'll be sure to pass it along. And until then, we'll see you next time. Have a good one.